Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another RSG stream, a new player stream. And this is something we're doing a little bit different this week. We're doing it every day this week during the good old lunchtime. And of course, I'm Ranger J 1999 from Team Instinct, here for your listening Pezza as we go about doing what we do best, and that is doing pretty much breaking down everything for new players. Something we felt we needed to do to kind of get new players caught up with the latest info and the latest version of the game, to kind of break down different areas and strategies and things to do and things not to do. And that's what we're going to be doing for the next hour plus or so, just kind of breaking stuff down for you guys, especially you new players out there. Try to give you a good general idea of strategy and tips that will help you be more successful in the game. Affinity, being the turd bot that he is, decided that he had to have a meeting for work during this time. He's just finishing up. I don't know when he's going to pop in. So whenever he does, we'll get into the hot and heavy things of everything. Thank you, everybody, for being in the chat. Just knock out some mechanics. If you like what you see, of course, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe so you can get all the latest and greatest content that we're putting out there. You can support us with the super chat function on the bottom, or you can become a sponsor for $4.99 a month, and you can do that on the top right. That being said,
I'm here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Finn, you suck.
My wicket took a lot longer to tell me about the financial.
The hell he was, you lying bastard.
The wicket talks a lot, and then Porg just kept interrupting him. It was awful.
Right. Everybody, that's Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, the Troll Extraordinaire, and I need to share my screen so you can see what's going on. Let me do that. I was doing it, but I had to do some other stuff. There, now Finn can see everything.
No worries.
All right, so I've got the screen up. I've already done all the introduction of what we're doing and everything. So, Finn, why don't you tell the good folks out there in TV land what it is we're going to be covering today?
All right, so yesterday we kind of left off in the middle of Squad Arena. We went over kind of the PvP aspect of Squad Arena and kind of the importance of it. We left off some points, though, so we'll go ahead and start off with the Squad Arena and then continue working left through the Cantina. Now, if you missed what we were talking about yesterday, this home screen that you have with the bar and all the other little things, this is called the overall Cantina. So if you see it in any of the developer posts on the forums when they refer to changes made in kind of the Cantina area, they're referring to this, not necessarily just the Cantina battles table, which you see kind of on the left of your screen there. But let's go ahead and go into the Squad Arena. And we discussed yesterday how this is kind of the more important aspect of the game. Crystals, again, are the freemium currency that are used in the game. And so that is the currency that you want to try and maximize, which will help you make progress in the game. The higher you get in Arena, the more crystals you get. So if you go into the tab, and I see that it's still loading.
I don't know what the hell is going on with my player here. It's pissing me off, dude. We may have to have you pull up your crap and I'll share the screen because I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's some kind of update or something, but it's been really slow. So
not a problem. Let me go ahead and get that set up for you. I can share that too. But
why aren't you loading?
Well, when it does end up loading, when you get to the screen, there are 4 tabs that are on your arena area.
We'd love to show you those tabs, but I guess the Android emulator has decided that it's going to not be working. Because it sure in the hell ain't my internet. I can tell you that much. I'm running 500 speed, and everything else is going zippity-doo-dah. This thing's just like, going slow because
you're going to make people think that there's actually an issue with the
I know, they're just going to be like, oh my god, the game's not working. What's going on?
So
it looks like I picked a bad week to stop doing amphetamines, Finn.
Yeah. We do not advocate drug use here.
What do you mean? I do. I drink all the time.
We have new players. Be nice.
What do you mean? They're adults. Adultish.
Well, you don't know that.
Somewhat adultish.
Somewhat adultish. I can go with that.
I don't know what the hell this is. It's just loading.
Well, so we have the when you go into your arena screen, there are
Let me know when your
4
screen's
different
ready,
tabs.
and I'll switch over, dude. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm getting mine up right now. So there are 4 different tabs, and one of the tabs is matches. The other one is ranks. Then there's prizes, and then there's redeem. The matches will allow you to select somebody in order to attack them. You can refresh using the little icon doohickey that is on the side there, and that one will allow you to select who you want, and we'll kind of go over how that works because it's a little tricky how exactly you do that. It can cause actually some frustration depending on how in-depth you're kind of going with that. But let's see if I can get this working for you, Ranger. Let's see if I can go to settings.
Yeah, it's just spinning. It's spinning.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's being really funky. It was working fine before. I don't know what's going on. It loaded up properly. So wait. Oh, there it goes. Now I finally got it. You son of a! Just have yours in a backup just in case.
Yep, I have it sharing just in case. But so when you have the 4 different tabs, you have matches, ranks, prizes, and redeem. Matches is where you can challenge.
Okay,
matches is where you can challenge somebody in order to do combat. There's ranks, which will show you everyone in the top 50 of your arena shard. Now, the top 50 is useful because it can help you see what other people are running. If you click on their names and you go into their profile, what you'll see is their 5-person squad. And so the 5-person squad will help you figure out what exactly they are running to give you an idea potentially of what is working really well on your arena shard. Again, talking from yesterday, you don't have to bother with chasing the meta. So chasing the meta means chasing kind of the top teams, the top kind of compositions. You don't want to necessarily chase those because by the time you get there, it may be too late. It may not be in the best interest of the rest of your collection and the rest of your roster. So it's just to give you an idea, but not necessarily what you need to go. But just to have an idea, that can be something you can potentially work towards, assuming you keep everything kind of in view in your whole roster. And the other benefit is it lets you see kind of the guilds of everyone. On the matches screen, you only see their names. If you go into the ranks, you can kind of see their guilds. And that can be kind of fun too because you can associate with different people based on what guild they are. You might be in the same guild community, and we'll get into guilds here in a little bit and their importance. But being able to see the guilds is also kind of a nice aspect. The next tab is the prizes tab. Now, this is the one that you want to make sure you're familiar with at the beginning because there is a reason why we'll kind of give you some advice on why to get certain things. Now, when you talk to most people, what they'll say is that you want to make sure you're hitting at least rank 200. In general, on your arena shards, you're going to have people that are playing very casually. You'll have people that are playing very hardcore, and you're going to have people that are paying, right? And paying meaning they're going to get kind of that extra boost initially. If you are spending money in this game, doing it early can be very beneficial. Reason being, you can get higher in arena, and you can see that as you go from top 200, so if you're in that 101 to 200 rank, you get 75 crystals. If you go up to the 51 to 100, now you get 25 more crystals. So it's 100 crystals. If you go into 21 to 50, you now get 150 crystals. If you go into the next tier, it's 200 crystals. These are all awarded daily. So if you spend a certain amount of money at the beginning, and this isn't to say you need to spend money, but if you spend money at the beginning, you kind of make back your money over time because you can stay higher in arena because you're going to be ahead of more people on your arena shard. And because you're going to be more ahead, you're going to get 50, 100, 150 more crystals per day, which will then basically equal up to the cost and more so than what you actually spent initially. So if you are making an investment in the game, doing it early will put you off in a really good foot because it'll give you that initial boost in arena in order to get more crystals. The reason why we say top 200 though is because not just the crystals and getting the 75 crystals, but you also get the little white boxes, which are the arena tokens. Arena tokens are used to buy character shards that are in your arena shop. And your arena shop can be gotten to through that little redeem tab. So in a lot of the different areas, like we saw in Galactic War, we saw it in Fleet Arena, we saw the Shard Shop, there's a lot of different shops that are available in this game. If you go into Arena and you click Redeem, it'll take you to the Arena Shop. If you go there, you can also see at the top, there's a bunch of different tabs with a bunch of different symbols. All those symbols represent the different types of currency that are in the game. And those are the ones that you can utilize, or different shops that are in the game. And those are the different ones that you can access kind of from any store screen that you go to. You can access all of the different shops from there. But you'll get familiar with the different icons in order to understand it. So you know now that this little white box is the arena tokens. And those ones will be used to buy arena characters from this shop. Some of them are going to be, most of them tend to be pretty exclusive to just this particular shop. Some of them are available in other places as well, but for the most part, most of these are going to be available primarily through just this shop. And so when you're looking at what kind of characters to farm, this is one of the things where you'll have to pay attention to the different characters, figure out what kind of direction you want to take your roster. But the main reason why we say top 200 is because at top 200, so if you are in that 101 to 200 rank or higher, you will gain in total 800 arena tokens per day. Now, the 800 tokens per day, if you look at the rewards in your tab, you'll see that 101 to 200 only gives you 600. So how do you get to 800? The 800 is because of your daily activities. There is a daily activity for you to do your arena battles. And by doing those arena battles, you get those remaining arena tokens in order to get up to 800. So if you do your battles in arena, you get your arena tokens, then you get into the top 200, you will get 800 arena tokens minimally. That means that you can do 2 purchases from the arena store, which means that one of those characters you will get 10 shards per day minimum. That is why the recommendation is always top 200, especially when you are starting. You get 10 character shards per day from those characters. It gives you the 75 crystals, which are really beneficial. And by getting those 800 arena tokens and getting into the top 200, you're putting yourself in an advantage over the rest of your roster. Top 200 in most arena shards, I would say in about maybe like 95%. Would you agree, Ranger, that top 200 for an active player shouldn't be too difficult? I don't know if I lost Ranger.
No, sorry, I had it on mute. No, that's not at all hard to do. It really isn't.
Yeah. And I mean, there's some shards that may have like super active people, especially at the beginning. They're just starting to play. They're doing all this stuff. But you want to make sure that you're doing it consistently, because some people will stop playing. Natural habit of any kind of game that you're playing. Some people will play and stop. Some people kind of do that initial spurt. If you're serious about the game, keep on doing it. You will prevail. Stay in that top 200. And then you can keep on pushing up accordingly after. So I think this may be a good time, Ranger. We've talked about 2 stores already. We've talked about the Arena store and the Galactic War store.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good idea maybe now to start talking about what kind of characters we would farm from these, and then we can discuss that more as we keep on going.
Well, we also talked about the ship store too. But I think we kind of laid out. You want to start from ships, or you just want to focus on Galactic War and Squad Arena? Since, well, I mean, they all kind of interlinked a little bit.
Yeah, ship starts a little bit later though. You have to hit like level 60.
That's true. So we can start with good old GW.
Yeah, and GW also opens a little bit later. I believe it's level 40, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right off the top of my head. I don't remember specifically.
Yeah.
You're the one who's supposed to have all this information, Finn. Damn it.
Well, I know what to do. I forget all the little level requirements. Once you get it, do it. So once you open Galactic, when you open Galactic War, you want to make sure you're focusing on characters.
Yes.
You have the ships at the top. The ships can
I would
be.
think, can you farm those before 60? Before ships?
That's when you yeah, you can start I don't know if you can farm them beforehand, but you start getting the ships kind of around the same time. You have to do your captain battles that'll show up in the events, which will be like kind of the next table we go through. You get those events in order to unlock the capital ship, so it gets kind of crazy at that point. But you want to farm your characters from your Galactic War store, especially early. Now, depending on who you ask, some of the recommendations will be a little bit different. If you talk to any of us that are part of the RSG crew, so myself, Ranger, Grande, Patron, or Sir Loki, we are all in agreement about what a new player should start with. And we'll go through your reason also why.
Right.
We recommend that your first characters that you farm are Phoenix characters. Now, there's a lot of different reasons why we say Phoenix.
Yeah.
But for your Phoenix characters, the reason why Phoenix is the best one to start out with is they have a synergy with each other that is very difficult to beat, especially at lower levels. If you have, and we mentioned this kind of yesterday, when you look at the different characters and their survival stats, when you're in combat, you see that they have kind of those 3 bars above their head. One is for their turn meter, which helps to determine who's going to go next in line in terms of attacks. Then there's the health and there's the protection. And those are the ones that kind of determine your survival. There are not a lot of protection recovery characters in this game. You have certain squads that have them. They have a lot of value to them. And especially at lower level where damage isn't going to be excessive, it is more about the abilities and kind of brute forcing and wearing down something with a bunch, like 1,000 cuts. Protection recovery ends up being really valuable. So a Phoenix squad has a huge synergy with them that does provide for protection recovery. So that's kind of one aspect of it. Another aspect is their character type. Now, if you click on a character and you go into their screen, at the top of the screen, you'll see that there are different words essentially listed that associate with the character. So you'll see that there's the name of the character, and then underneath the character, you will see light side, for example. That means that they are a light side or a dark side character. So like Ezra is a light side character. There's also a word that is either attacker, support, healer, or tank, which refers to their role in the combat. And so their role in the combat is what you will see as it has some effects on certain abilities, but essentially it gives you an idea about what their purpose is, right? So Ezra is an attacker, which means that his main purpose is to attack. The other ones are their factions. Now, Ezra is one of these characters that has 3 different factions. He has Jedi, he has Rebel, and he has Phoenix. Each of these different factions have a different function in this game. Now, Phoenix the Phoenix tag itself is utilized in territory battles. So if you're doing those with your guild, you can start to prep your Phoenix characters for that particular purpose. Rebels is also one that is used in territory battles. They won't overlap with Phoenix, obviously. So if you have a Phoenix need and a Rebels need, you won't be able to use it twice in territory battles. But Rebels have other purposes as well. Another one with Phoenix is there are things called legendary events. Mm-hmm. These are events that are going to give you special characters that, for the most part, are going to be very useful in some aspect of the game. Phoenix characters can help unlock Grand Admiral Thrawn. So if you guys are fans of Star Wars Rebels, you will know who Grand Admiral Thrawn is. He's the awesome blue dude. Just simplified, he is the awesome blue dude commander. And right now, he is one of the best characters in the game.
And he's a fleet
Yes, and he's a fleet captain. And so that goes to ships. So he has a ship purpose as well. But he is a character that you will want to try and get. And in order to get him, you must have 5 Phoenix characters. So by getting the Phoenix squad, who are all also rebels as well, you can get Thrawn. The fact that they are rebels will also help you get another legendary character, Emperor Palpatine.
Pull him up.
Emperor Palpatine is very useful at low levels as well. He has an AoE stun ability where if you don't have a proper squad in order to resist it, if your Emperor Palpatine can get a stun off on 5 different characters, you can basically take control of an arena match. And there's a question here by Paul Morgan that is asking, is it possible to move up to desired ranks without spending? And the answer is yes. The spending that you do in a game will reduce the time that it takes for you to get to the desired rank. So even if you don't spend any money in the game, you can still get to rank 1. But it might just take you a little bit longer because you need more time in order to get the gear for your characters. You need more time to get the credits in order to level up your characters. So don't think that if you don't spend money, you're not going to get into the top of your arena. It just takes a little bit of extra time because obviously you're not spending in order to reduce that gap. So Phoenix then will get you Emperor Palpatine, who is also a very useful character, especially at lower levels. And the fact that they are Jedi, 2 of them are Jedi, Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger. And those 2 being Jedi can also help you with Grand Master Yoda. Grand Master Yoda is also another legendary event. So by getting Phoenix, you are now working on 3 different legendary events, 2 of which you can get fully, and another one that you have 2 out of the 5 characters that you would need. Okay, so in kind of just evaluating all of the different events that are in the game, kind of planning ahead, right? Phoenix will give you a good synergy that is difficult to beat, especially at low levels. They'll help you get characters that are useful in low levels and late game. So low levels, Emperor Palpatine is really useful. Late game, Thrawn is useful. And Thrawn is useful early on too. If you can get him, definitely use him because he is kind of a game-changing character. And so when you put your Phoenix together, they're very useful. Now, another benefit to Phoenix early on is that their gear and their acquisition is very easy. Phoenix was introduced not at the beginning of this game. They were introduced fairly recently. And they were pretty much introduced as kind of a starter squad for people. They put them in places where players who are just starting are going to be able to acquire them easily right at the beginning. So we went through like the light side table and the dark side table a little bit yesterday, and you saw that there were different levels, and it went from 1 to 8, 1 to 9. And those ones are going to unlock at different levels. The nodes that are required for these characters, if they are on the tables, and there's 3 of them, Sabine, Hera, and Ezra are all on different nodes on tables, they can be acquired very, very early in your leveling. So working on Phoenix early is a very easy proposition. Their gearing is not terrible. I mean, they do require some.
Well, after gear 7, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
But to gear 7, it's not that bad. But once you get to gear 7, oh, yes. The stun cuffs and carbantes are real.
Yes, but gear 7 again is what you need because that's when they gain base protection to their ability or to their characters, and then when you get mods, it'll magnify their protection stat. So getting at least into that purple gear is great. So Yoda is asking, what would be a good arena squad to be starting off with? Your best arena squad to be starting out with would be Phoenix.
Yeah.
If you're talking about kind of really, really early game, which is when you don't even have your Phoenix characters, then obviously you're going to go with whatever you have. And for the most part, that's going to be like Royal Guard, Talia, Jedi Consular, I'm trying to remember, Royal Guard, Jedi Consulars, Clone Wars, Chewbacca,
Clone Trooper,
and,
whatever you got.
Yeah, and 5s. I think those are your starting 5 essentially. I think it's 5s, Royal Guard, Geonosian Soldier,
not
Talia,
it's Clone Trooper.
Clone Trooper, okay. So Clone Trooper, Jedi Consular, Clone Wars, Chewie, Talia, and Royal Guard. You're not going to really be using a lot of those characters late game, just so you know. But the leveling up at low levels is fairly easy. It's not a lot of credits, so try and keep those characters maxed out as much as you can until you get your Phoenix squad ready to go. So If you're asking really early on, Yoda, what your best arena squad is, the answer is whatever you have, try and max it out. If you're asking maybe just a little bit after you started and you focused on a few characters, then Phoenix Squad is going to be your best arena squad, especially starting. So looking at your characters, you see that there are 6 different Phoenix characters. They're acquired in different spots except for Hera and Ezra. So Kanan is acquired in your arena store. Zeb is acquired in your Galactic War store. So when we were talking about those two and you are trying to figure out which ones to get, because they don't overlap, right? You want to get Kanan from your arena stores with the tokens that you are getting, and you want to get Zeb from your Galactic War store. That leaves your other 4, which are Sabine, Hera, Ezra, and Chopper. Chopper is in a different store again. He is in your Cantina Battle store. So he will be able to be acquired through a different currency as well. So Chopper will be your 3rd character. Then you have Hera and Ezra that are going to be on Cantina Battle nodes. They're on 2 different nodes. And then Sabine is in the guild store. And, well, I think she was in the guild store. People haven't seen her lately. But the other thing is she's in a hard node. Mm-hmm. In terms of your overall team, the one that you will want, the best team to go with is Ezra, Hera, with a Hera lead.
Hera's always
Ezra,
the lead,
yeah. Hera's the only lead of the group. And we'll go through the lead thing also, because we didn't really talk about the abilities too much. So we can do that next year. But your team will be a Hera lead, Ezra, Zeb, Chopper, and Kanan. Those will be the 5 that you want. That leaves Sabine kind of out of the mix. Doesn't mean don't farm her, right? But it may be something that you want to put on the back burner. Now, with regards to Ezra and Hera share the same general location. They're both in a Cantina node. Cantina nodes need Cantina energy, so the way that you acquire them will be through the exact same resource. So, how do you put this together? You want to farm Hera first in order to get her leader ability. Okay, so Hera will be your first farm. Ezra will be your second farm. Now, the way that you will want to do this is a little bit of alternating back and forth. You can do Hera first, unlock Hera. Then you can do Ezra, unlock Ezra. Then you can take Hera to the next star level. You can take Ezra to the next star level. Why am I saying to alternate back and forth? This goes to your fleet shipments. Ezra has another location that does not unlock until level 60, and that is your fleet arena store.
Right.
Ezra shows up in the fleet arena, so what you can do is level up your Hera to get her 1 star up. In the meantime, collect your Ezra shards from your fleet arena. By the time you get Hera, let's say from 4 star to 5 star, your Ezra may have already collected about 30 different shards, so you only have to do a little bit more to push Ezra to the next star. And then you go back to Hera. Then you collect shards from the fleet arena from Ezra, keep on boosting him up. As soon as Hera hits that next star level, use your Cantina energy and bring Ezra up. So you can keep on bringing them kind of up evenly and use your fleet arena as kind of the currency in order to boost your Ezra. So that's why we're saying kind of just alternate back and forth a little bit. It'll bring them up evenly. Hera is important first, though, because she needs that leader ability. And Ezra, overall, is actually more important to the squad because he is going to be your damage dealer. But we don't recommend going 7 star on Ezra immediately because you can get him from another resource. You don't want to keep on wasting your resources.
Right.
If you don't have to use your Cantina energy to get Ezra, don't use your Cantina energy to get Ezra.
Right.
But it's important that you keep him up, so that's why alternating back and forth ends up being a good strategy in this particular scenario. In most other cases, we'll always tell you take a character to 7 star first and then move on. But in this particular scenario, there is a very distinct reason why we're saying alternate back and forth. Anything to add to that, Ranger?
Well, just her leader ability, why is she so important?
Yeah.
So
okay.
Her max leader ability basically says each active Phoenix grants their unique ability to Phoenix allies. In addition, whenever a Phoenix ally uses a special ability, they gain 20% turn meter if hair is active. This effect is dealt for Phoenix allies with less than full health. So you get to, that's why she's so important. And that's why leader abilities, certain leaders stand out more than others. And her, very much in particular, because Phoenix just doesn't work without her. Pretty much, you know. I mean, you can use them. It just won't be as effective. And as you said, you know, Kanan and Ezra are Jedi, but they'll get benefits from other Jedi leader abilities if you're using them with a Jedi squad. But if you're going to be using Phoenix, especially when you get to start getting to late game, you have to get some of these abilities, you know, Omega and Zeta, because they make a difference in how effective your team is going to be.
And let's go a little bit into the abilities so you have an idea about what we're talking about. Do you want to, let's go with, do you have Barriss open, Ranger?
Yeah,
and we can use Barriss as
yeah, she's Zeta, so I can pull her up.
Okay, so Barriss has, the reason we're pulling up Barriss Offee, she is a Jedi character. She has all the different ability types, and it helps you kind of understand where everything, how these abilities work. All characters will have one ability that is a basic attack. You'll see it in parentheses next to the level on each of the different boxes on the left. So on the left, there's an attacks and abilities. Each one has something in parentheses listed on that second line next to the level. So Barriss, the first one is going to be a basic. Every character has a slightly different basic. Most of them will deal damage. There's a couple of characters that are oddballs with that, but for the most part, they'll all do some kind of attack. And if you go with the basic, right? The basic is going to be something that all characters have. So it's not something that's you have to worry about one character having, one character not having. Every character will have a basic. The next one is a special. The special is something that pretty much all characters have as well, but there's different types of special abilities. You will not see that listed in the parentheses. In the parentheses, you'll only see special. Specials are active abilities. By active abilities, I mean you must select them in order for them to be working. So it's your character's turn. They have to do something. You will be able to use a basic, or you'll be able to use a special if it's not on cooldown. So cooldown refers to whether or not an ability is able to be used. Most abilities will start off on no cooldown, meaning that you're able to activate them on turn 1. Some of them will have a starting cooldown of like 8 turns. So you must wait 8 turns before you can use the ability. Once you use an ability, you'll see that underneath the icon, if you open up the description box, it says cooldown and then a certain number. That is the number of rounds that you will not be able to use that ability once you use it the first time. So if you use a special and it has a cooldown of 4, it will require 4 more turns before you can use it again. Specials, again, are active abilities, meaning that you must use them in order for them to work. The other type is a unique. Now, unique is a passive ability. It is an ability that will be active for the character, even if the character is not actively using it. So for Barriss Offee, she has a unique called Swift Recovery. And this is one that heals people on her team as long as she is alive. If she dies, then this ability is no longer active. So by active and passive abilities, active means you have to actively use it. Passive means that it's just always running. And so a unique is always running in the background as long as the character is alive. And that is what separates a unique from a leader ability. A leader ability is similar to a unique, except that it will persist for your team even if the character that has it is dead. So if Barriss Offee dies and she is in the leader position, which is the first position on your character select screen, which will go on your squad select screen, which we can show you next. If she is your leader, then she is in that first position, and even if she dies, everybody will get her leader ability, which increases the max health, or the Jedis will get their increased half health, and other ones will get half, and they'll get their other healing at the start of each turn. That will persist even if Barris Offee is dead. So when you're looking at characters, the different things you're going to be comparing is looking at their basic, looking at their special, looking at their unique, and who you want to set as your leader. If you look at the Phoenix characters, there are 6 different characters. Only one of them has a leader ability, and that is Hera. And that is why Hera is very, very highly valued in the Phoenix squad, because without Hera, the Phoenix squad is basically just a bunch of individual characters with no real synergy. She is the one that brings it all together. And if Hera dies, because it is the lead ability, Hera will still have her leader ability persist. And as Ranger was reading before, what Hera does with her leader is that all the other characters of the team share their unique abilities. And so now, as long as those characters are alive, their unique abilities pass on to everybody else. So Hera's leader is kind of it makes like a giant net between all of the Phoenix characters. So they'll all get counterattack. They'll all get protection increases. They'll all get increased stacking offense. Like, it's a whole bunch of different synergies you get as a result of Hera being your lead. And that's why we recommend Phoenix Squad. It's not a very easy squad to deal with at low levels if you don't have the proper squad to go against it. Anything else to add to that, Ranger? I'm just checking the chat to see if there's any other questions.
No, perfectly said.
All right. So can you open up a Cantina battle? You don't have to go into it, but let's look at your squad select screen.
The Cantina battles?
Yeah, just any node.
Okay.
So one thing we basically kind of hinted at yesterday that we would talk about today is allies. Now, with your Cantina battles, with your light side battles, with your dark side battles, with one of your challenges, and with those are pretty much the only areas, but you can use allies in order to help your squad. So early on, a way for you to make progress really easily without banging your head against the wall is to get really high allies. There is no restriction, and once you're eligible for allies, which I believe is around level 20 or 22. As soon as you're eligible for allies, find very high allies that you can use to assist you. There is no restriction on, like, if you're level 20, your allies need to be within 5 levels. There's nothing like that. So you can get a level 85, use them in these battles, and start wrecking things. So that can be your greatest asset on all of those different modes: light side table, dark side table, Cantina battle table, and your challenges. Okay, so work on getting good allies. If you go into the RSG Discord, the link is in the description below. You can come and chat with us, and I'm sure you'll be able to find people that will make room in their ally squads for you. Okay, so allies is the first thing that you will select on those tables. Now, not all places will give you access to allies. There are some of the challenges that do not allow allies. There are also the Galactic War table. You cannot use allies. And as you can probably imagine, Arena does not let you use allies.
No.
So once you select an ally in order to be a part of your team, you will get to a screen that will show you 6 different boxes. Each of those boxes can hold a particular character. The one in the bottom right will show you the ally that you picked in order to battle. Any character that is used as an ally cannot also be used in those other 5 boxes. So if, for example, you picked Commander Luke Skywalker or if you picked General Kenobi in order to be your ally in the bottom right, you cannot use your own General Kenobi. So there's only one character of each type in any 6-man group. So the other 5 are then going to be filled with your own roster. And you'll want to make sure, obviously, you're leveling up your characters, you're building up for certain things. So whatever characters you want in Cantina can be used. Light side battles, you can only use light side characters. Dark side battles, you can only use dark side. With your light side focus, you'll be able to get your light side through and your Cantina battles done with your Phoenix squad. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of delay on the dark side. That doesn't mean you can't farm more dark side characters. Remember that you're still going to be using the Bronziums. You'll be trying to unlock characters. You can get a squad of dark side characters that you can also just boost up in order to make progress on the dark side table. But with your Phoenix squad, you're not splitting up between dark side and light side. You'll be able to push through all of light side, and you'll be able to push through all of Cantina. And this is, again, the character select screen, and we mentioned about the bottom right. The top left box is your leader. And you'll see next to the box, there's also like the little rectangle that shows you what leader ability you picked. And if you click on it, you can see the leader ability and what is actually being given to the rest of your squad. But that is where your leader position is. So when we say first position, leader position, that is what we're referring to. If you put Hera in any other box besides the top left, her leader ability will not apply. And you are allowed to select a character that does not have a lead ability to be put in the leader. They just contribute no leader ability to the group. Okay, so you do want to make sure when you're battling, you don't waste any energy by putting somebody else in the box. Common problem even at higher level. Ezra has a higher power than Hera. So Ezra sometimes is automatically put into that box, and then you have no leader ability. So always make sure you're checking that top left box in order to make sure you have a character with a lead ability.
Got it.
All right. So then going back...
going back to Galactic War.
No, Arena. Let's make it work.
Yeah, Arena. Okay, yeah.
So in that first tab of Arena where it says matches, that is where you will attack people. You have a range based on your own rank that you can attack with. Until you get into like the top 50 is probably not worth it for you to worry too much about getting your max jump. But what you can see on this overall screen is at any given time, you're going to have 3 people eligible to attack. You can click the little circular recycle looking button on the left, and that one will refresh your screen. That will update those 3. Now, you may get a repeat of the same people, but it's refreshing those boxes to try and get you all the different people that you can potentially attack on your screen. So you can refresh and try to get somebody that is a better matchup for you. There's different things you can see on this screen that you'll want to make sure you're looking at. The first thing is at the bottom in that green box, there is battles, and then in parentheses it says a number. That is how many free battles you have in any given day. You start out with 5 battles. There is a 10-minute cooldown between when you start the first battle and when you can start the next battle. Okay, it's important to know that that is that 10-minute window. Okay, so it's when you start the first battle and when you can start the next battle. A battle can last up to 5 minutes, which means that at a maximum, you are playing for 5 minutes, then you have a 5-minute window where you cannot play. If you complete your attack within 3 minutes, you now have to wait 7 minutes before you can do the next attack. It's still going to be 10 minutes between your first attack and when you can attack next time. You get 5 free battles again per day. In between, you can spend 50 crystals in order to refresh your attack. You do not want to do that.
Do not do that.
Do not do that one.
Do not do that ever.
There's very, 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 very few instances where you'll ever want to do that, and it is definitely not unless you are near the top 10. Okay? There is no other time that you really want to refresh your particular attack in order to get your attack faster. Okay? So you'll see that 50 crystal thing pop up. And there's 2 different ones that show up, though. What you want to make sure you do is look at the timer associated with that 50 crystals. The first one will be in between battles, and you will see that it will have a timer that is less than 10 minutes. You want me to do a battle and show them? Yeah, if you want, you can do a battle and show them. I didn't know if you wanted to use your battle this early yet.
I let other people climb, but it's okay if I do a battle.
Okay. So Ranger will do his battle, and you can kind of see how an arena battle goes. Again, Ranger's at a higher level. So this is kind of like a top level battle. Your guys will be a little bit different. Same concepts, same use of abilities in order to get this running. But when you get to that screen with the button, it will show you 50 crystals in order to refresh, and then a timer. Now, the timer can be less than 10 minutes, and in which case your 50 crystals is going to be used to refresh your next attack. So if you're at 5, you use your attack, you're going to be down to 4. It's not going to show you that 4 on the battle. But when you refresh the crystals, it will now show you battle and then in parentheses 4. That is the one that you do not want to do. The other one will show you a timer that will be probably within a few hours. And that timer will work on when your account is set to reset. And we'll tell you what that means as well. But your account reset is when all of your dailies refresh, is when essentially it's when all of your daily stuff refreshes. So the challenges will change. Most of the time the events will change. Sometimes the events change on a little bit of an off hour, but most of your events will change at that time period. Your fleet challenges will update. Your arena will get 5 new attacks. Your fleet arena will get 5 new attacks. Your shipments will update. So there is a refresh timer that is every day that refreshes, and that one is what will show up. So when you do your attack, it will maybe show you something like 5 hours, 6 hours left. If you do the 50 crystal refresh on that one, you will get 5 new attacks. Now it's 50 crystals for the first time, it's 100 for the next time, it's 150 after. You pretty much don't want to go beyond the 50, and even the 50 you don't want to do early on. Okay, so 50 is more commonly used, but again, once you are in the higher levels, like if you are going into the top 20, top 10. But even that one you don't want to use early, but make sure that you just kind of look at the timers, because the timers for those refreshes make a difference on what exactly you are refreshing. When you look on your arena screen, so as Ranger is kind of finishing up his arena battle here, when you finish up your arena thing at the top, in the prizes tab, you will see that there is a timer. The timer is when you get your arena payout. So we showed you earlier the prizes and getting into the top 200. One of the questions that I'm sure you're asking is, how do I get into the top 200? Is it just getting into the 200 at any point in the day? Do I have to get to it by a particular time? And the answer is you have to get to it by a particular time. That prizes tab has a timer that shows you when you are going to reach your particular payout calculation time. So in the US right now, it is at 6 p.m. your local time based on daylight savings. When the hour changes ahead later on, it's going to be 7 o'clock, but your timer is still going to be the same. If you're not doing daylight savings, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. So it just varies on your location. But the timer is set based on the universal time, so the UTC. So that's always going to stay the same based on relative times, but it'll change based on your local time, how you adjust to it. But that is when the calculation is done on when you get your arena payout. And then if you go back to what we mentioned about the timers, there is 10 minutes between attacks, and you have 5 attacks that are free. In order to use all 5 attacks, you need 45 minutes between when you start your first attack and the latest that you will end your 5th attack. It will be 45 minutes.
All right, so I just got done with my I was Kenobi team. But now you can see the thing on the time. It gives you the timer, and then it gives you a 50 refresh crystal thing there. And do not use this. Don't do it. Please, sweet baby Jesus, don't do this. And so you see from when I started the battle till then, you get Finn said 10 minutes, and then I'll have until the timer runs before I can do another battle. Now there's another thing too we didn't talk about. You get 5 battles for free, right? When you start getting into the top 50, top 20, you start making more crystals, right? So there's especially when you start getting into the top 20, right? For me, if 5 battles, I usually get in the top 10. I'll do 5 battles, I'll be in the top 10. But let's say I'm trying, I'm going to go for like number 2. Well, the payout for number 2, if you look at the rewards, the prizes, right? It's, from, say I was number 6, right? That's 250. Well, number 2 is 450 crystals, but I'm out of attacks. At that point, I would use a crystal refresh to get more battles so I can get number 2. I lose 50 because I just refreshed 50, right? But between the difference between getting 250 and 450, that's 100 plus minus the 50 refresh. I'm gaining 150 more crystals I would earn for the reward. That's the only time you want to use that, right? Because that's when it starts getting, when you start getting to this area, that second round of battles, if you're short and you're trying to get in the top 5, you can see the difference in crystals. That's the only time you want to use that. Okay. You never want to use it for, trying to get from 20 to 21 to 20. I mean, then you're kind of evening out. It doesn't really do anything. And then the other thing is, don't please ever use this. Don't ever use the 50 refresh for time unless, like, I'm trying to think of a scenario, Finn, but
there's very few, and I don't want to go into it because it gets advanced.
Yeah, it's
like the lockouts and stuff.
It's
but I don't
new math.
Yeah. Well, it's like locking out, but I don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you about the concept of that just so you guys know. There is a concept in Arena called locking out. Essentially, if you are in a battle with somebody, and we won't use you guys in particular. Let's assume player A is in combat with player B for a position. Player A is going to be locked out from anybody else attacking him because he is in a combat, and same thing with player B until that combat is done. As soon as that combat is done, then they switch positions. So, not to get into too much details, but obviously you can force a refresh in order to lock yourself out so nobody can attack you. It is a waste of an attack. Very few scenarios, especially now with the game kind of being as long as it is and people not sniping as much. Not as much reason for it, but there is a concept of locking out. So if you are attacking somebody, you may get a little error button that says somebody is currently attacking you or your opponent is currently in combat, meaning that if somebody is attacking you, that's why you can't attack because you're locked out because somebody is attacking you. And otherwise, it'll say your opponent's in combat, which means somebody else is attacking your opponent, or your opponent is attacking somebody else. So player B is attacking player C, so you can't attack player B. So that can happen as well in your arena. So if you see those messages, just make sure you know what they mean. 5-minute maximum for your attack. So you know within 5 minutes, the player is going to be available to be attacked again. So that's essentially what you're looking at in your arena. Arena, again, is going to be your main source of income for crystals. And so that is one that you want to make sure you're focusing on. You're trying to get as high as possible. It does get tricky, especially as you get into like the top 50. So don't expect if you get your, let's say we're telling you to get into the top 100. At the beginning, you may get your payout at, let's say, 180. You reach rank 180 at the time of your payout. You get your rewards for rank 180. You go to sleep. You wake up, and all of a sudden, you're ranked 250. That is very, 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 very common. Okay? So do not get upset if you find that you drop, because remember that other people will be attacking within that hour before their payout, because you need 45 minutes in order to use all 5 attacks minimally. And so about an hour before their payout, they're going to try and be attacking to move up. So then they'll be attacking, and then you might be their target, so then you switch positions. So the way Arena works is if you are ranked 10 and you beat the rank 6, the 6 falls to the 10, and then you move up to the 6. So you basically attack to keep on swapping positions. As you get lower into the ranks, the amount that you can attack increases. So if you're in rank 4, you can only attack 3, 2, and 1. If you're ranked 10, you can attack up to rank 6. So you can attack 9, 8, 7, 6.
I think 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 7 highest is 3,
yeah.
6 is 2, and then if you're ranked 5, you can go to 1. So
right.
It kind of gets down to the max 4 for moving up.
Mm-hmm. But if you go down to 20, 20 can attack up to 14. So now it's a 6 difference. Mm-hmm. If you're in 33, I believe you can attack to 25. Yeah. So now it's an 8 difference. As you get lower and lower into the ranks, that gap ends up being larger. So if you're in the top 200 with a single attack, you can potentially fall like 12 spaces.
Yeah.
So it's not something to be worried about, because just the same, you can attack in order to jump that same distance. right? So don't get discouraged if you find that you get a payout at one rank and then all of a sudden you drop. It's normal for this game. It happens in before like the hour of everyone's combat. If you're trying to get your max payout, right? So you're trying to get your maximum prizes in arena. If you attack too early, then your problem is going to be that other people are going to be attacking for their payout, and then you're going to stop dropping, right? So don't try to push too early if you can avoid it. I know schedule is always one thing that affects people. You may not be able to play during your arena time, so you try to push up whenever you have the chance.
Oh, sure.
It's fun. It's fine. It happens as part of the game. You do what you can. Just realize that in terms of maximizing your results, the best time to do it is going to be about 1 to 2 hours before your payout, because that is when you're going to not be fighting. If you're in the US, for example, the European people are going to be done. They're going to be after their payout. They're going to have like 23 hours, 22 hours, 20 hours until their payout. So they have no reason to attack now because there's way too much time until their payout is coming back.
Same thing with people in the Orient in Australia. You know, they're like when you're sleeping, that's when they're making their move. You know, so
Right.
you know, and then the U.S. you just got to figure out by time zones, and you know, it's not once you get the gist of it, it's really you'll get it.
And as you get higher, and as you can kind of imagine, right, with the jumps being smaller as you get higher, once you get into the top 200, you'll start seeing some of the same names over and over and over and over again. You'll also see that some of the same names are moving at the exact same time as you. And that is likely because they are at the same payout as you. One thing you can do that can potentially hinder you if you're not careful, and it depends on how you want to play, is if you attack somebody who you think has the same payout as you, they might attack you back in order to try and get that position. And essentially what you're doing is going back and forth with one person. Neither of you two are going to increase in your ranks, and you're not going to get your maximum rewards. Now, I will admit fully, I have done this before because there is certain enjoyment to me from preventing the other person from getting a higher rank, just because you get kind of into this rivalry back and forth.
Like
if that's
evilness.
And if that's something you enjoy in the game, do it. Just make sure that you understand what you're giving up and what you're gaining from it. The gain for me was just a lot of fun going back and forth with the same person over and over again, and just kind of having this rivalry where we would both try and just attack each other. And at the beginning, we were trying to like screw each other out of our each other's payouts until we were at the same time. But if you are trying to advance what you are doing that one time be a problem. It will let the person know that you are serious, you're playing at this time, and that you have the same payout. And what you then kind of may mutually do is just avoid each other on the way up, so neither of you two lose attacks. So there is kind of an unspoken strategy that can happen with Arena and attacking certain people at certain times, letting them know this is my payout, you're not going to beat me in order to move up. And after you do it a couple of times, they'll stop attacking you. They'll start moving around you. If they start doing that, then you can be nice and move around them too. And you can kind of make progress in Arena kind of smoothly. The other thing is if you're in the top 50, better if you're in the top 20. Why it was doing that, but...
It's reconnected. I don't know why it did that.
Okay. I don't know how much of my stuff got through, but essentially just to summarize what I was saying... essentially to summarize what I was just saying, if you go back and forth, you can kind of set a precedent with the other person not to attack you. And if you go onto like a forum, you lose a little bit of the competition, but you make it so your time before payout is a little bit easier to handle on your real life scenario. And the real life scenario is obviously because it happens at a time that sometimes is not the best time for people, being 6 p.m., 7 p.m. It ends up being dinner time for a lot of people. So it's a little bit difficult sometimes for players. So being on those kind of things can ease the burden and improve your quality of life with this game as well.
Well said. Something happened. Some kind of update or something. Okay, there we go. Now it's going back to normal. I was like, what the hell happened here? It dropped frames, all kinds of stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
OBS wanted to keep on updating stuff.
I know, man. You can't. It's so stupid. Let me make sure that it affected the YouTube stream, but all right, it's back up and going. It looks like it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. So everything should be working now. And Ranger got everything fixed. So we should, if you guys refresh it, it should be okay. But let's go ahead and go on to the next area. We'll kind of run through these next ones pretty quickly because they're all relatively the same. We'll start with the events table.
Let me look at the stream real quick and just make sure it's good.
Yeah, it's back now.
It is back? Okay, good.
Let me just tell them. All right.
Okay, good.
So let's go to the events table. And the events table is where you will see special things that are going on in the game. You will see often, you will get a note, you will go onto the table and you'll see that something is starting in 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. You can get some early notifications. When one is active, you will get a little button on the right that will tell you that an event is active. And so you will get not only the notification on the table, but you will also get the little icon on the right that will tell you that there is an event active, and it'll tell you how much time is left for that. Try to do these as much as possible. This will also be where you see the legendary events that we mentioned earlier, where you can get your Palpatine, you can get your Grand Admiral Thrawn, you can get your Grandmaster Yoda. Whatever it is, you will be able to pick it up. You'll be able to pick up those events here. Some of these have specific requirements. Yep. So, for example, currently, so you have like the assault battles, right? The ground war assault battles. And you'll see at the bottom that it says Battle Separatists. When you click on the little I, you'll get the information, and it tells you what the requirements are. And so you'll see that the ground battle, the assault battles requires an Ugnaught, it requires Ewoks and or resistance characters. If you look at the Hoth Omega battles, it will require any 3 characters, but it'll also need Scoundrel characters and First Order characters. So these are just things that give you bonuses in the game. There are very few of these that you really need to spend your time to really get. There are 2 things, well, one thing in the early game and then one thing through all of the game that will show up here that you do want to focus on. One is called the Credit Heist, and the other one is the Training Droid Smuggling.
Yep.
Now, the Training Droid Smuggling is the one that you will need particularly in the early game. You won't need it so much in the late game because you'll end up with an overabundance of them. But the Training Droid Smuggling and the Credit Heist both require Scoundrel characters for you to do. And what they do is give you bonus training droids, which are used to level up characters. We looked yesterday kind of in that bottom left of your screen where you see the level. You can level up characters. You use credits in order to level them, but you also need training droids in order to give them that experience. So training droids is needed in order to level up a character from like level 1 to level 85. Credits are the currency for the entire game in order to level up things, in order to star up things. What you will want to make sure you do with those, though, is Scoundrels will be your second faction that you farm. I think some people are saying to farm it first. The problem with farming your Scoundrels first is that they don't have a synergy, and you lose out on a lot of crystals every single day.
Right.
And when you lose those crystals every single day, you could have bought more credits than you had earned through the Credit Heist, which only comes like every 6 to 10 business days. They changed the cadence a little bit. It's still kind of around that same period where you get maybe about 1 a week. But you don't want to sacrifice your arena for the Credit Heist. You don't want to sacrifice your arena for your training droids. Your overall benefit from getting a daily boost of crystals is going to be worth more than the crystals that you are sacrificing by not getting the Scoundrels first. So with that, you'll want to make sure that you're kind of paying attention to what characters are Scoundrels. You get one early, Clone Wars Chewie. So,
well, I've not worked on since then.
Yes. He is useful for your initial smuggling events. He is definitely one that you'll want to get and boost up for that particular reason. But he's not not going to be used too much later in game, but what you want to do is get those 5 scoundrel characters as soon as you're done with Phoenix. And different tiers will unlock with different characters. With different levels. So as you improve in levels, you'll be able to unlock more tiers, and you'll basically be able to kind of run through as you level up your scoundrels in each of the different events. And you want to make sure that in general, so this is for the training droid and the credit heist event, but just in general for all of the events, because people have had this issue in the past. Whenever an event is up, try to do the maximum level of that first. Mm-hmm. There are certain events that share attempts over all the different tiers. So like the training droid and the credit heist have like 4 different tiers. If you do tier 1, which is the lowest one, you will get the lowest amount of credits. But all of the attempts that you have for that event are shared.
Yep.
And so if you do the lowest one, you don't get an opportunity for the highest one. So in all of your events, as a habit, always try to do the hardest one first and see if you can get it done. Okay? So if you can get it done, great. You got those rewards. If they don't share attempts, fine. You can go back and then do the next lowest one and the next lowest one. But if they do share an attempt and you do the lowest one, you've kind of screwed yourself out of all the potential rewards for you. So with your events, scoundrels will be your second characters that you farm. There is a variance on which characters you want to get. Clone Wars Chewie is the easiest one to get started on. There are characters, again, that do not overlap that you can potentially get from all the different areas. We focused on Phoenix for your first characters, which are all light side. So you may want to focus something a little bit more on the dark side for your next characters, like a Boba Fett and an IG-88. So it varies a little bit. You can also vary this based on your roster to some extent, what you want to do, what you want to build. Once you get your Phoenix, you'll have a little bit more footing of what you want to do in this game, what you want to accomplish. Are you looking to have fun with particular characters? I know people that have decided that they want to make it their mission to make sure that Jedi are valid in high-ranking arenas, right? Doesn't matter what the meta is, they want to make sure that Jedi are final and they farm just Jedi all the time. There's other people that are focused only on certain dark side, like they're just overfilled with Empire because that's what they enjoy. Do what you enjoy. Figure out what it is you want out of the game. Do you want to just be always about being on the cutting edge of competition? Do you want to do things that are just fun in the game for you and then maximize your game accordingly? By the time you get your Phoenix squad, you'll be able to figure out what your play style is, and then you can kind of adjust what you want to farm with your scoundrels, because there are a lot more scoundrels than obviously there are Phoenix. So anything else with the events table?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Okay. The next 3, if you kind of just go clockwise around your cantina, you have the dark side battles, you have the light side battles, you have cantina battles. They all have nodes. You just farm them. Light side and dark side have 2 different types. There are normal and there are hard. Normal ones cost less. They give you more gear based for like your total amount of energy. And we'll talk about energy here in a second too, because we didn't discuss that yesterday. But your energy is used on your 2 types of energy. You have like the little orange lightning bolt and you have the yellow lightning bolt. The yellow lightning bolt is regular energy. The orange one is for cantina. You spend the yellow ones on the light side and the dark side battle. And there's 2 different types, normal and hard. Hard nodes are the ones that you can earn character shards. The game has evolved to the point where there are a ridiculous amount of characters. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is do your normal nodes in order to unlock the hard for those missions. So until you get at least 1 star on every battle on a particular normal level, you will not unlock the hard. Once you unlock the hard, then you can do the hard nodes. If you 3-star them, you can sim them, meaning that you don't have to manually do each battle. You can use your sim ticket, which are those little green tickets. You accumulate them through doing your dailies, and you can get them from certain nodes as well as a possible drop. And that means that you don't have to actually do the battle. You can just click on it and then do the battles automatically. And if you 3-star it, you are then eligible to use it. If you only have like 1-star or 2-star, then you cannot do it. And 3-star means that none of your characters die. The key word there, your characters. Remember that you can use an ally's characters in order to help you with light side and dark side battles. That counts as the 6th character. If that character dies, but your 5 characters are still alive, you will still 3-star. However, if that character is alive, your ally's character, that 6th character is alive, but one of yours drops and dies, right? Then you do not 3-star. You will 4-star or 2-star, and then potentially 1-star if you lose too many. So try to 3-star them. And using a high level ally can really help with that. And then once you 3-star, you can just sim the battles. Sim tickets can be particularly rare at the beginning. So one of the things you may want to do is just try and do some manual battles and accumulate those sim tickets early. So on those days where you don't have a lot of time to actually play, then you can use your sim tickets.
There's a great question here from Nathaniel Miller. It says, there are some continued battles that have the same shards offered. Is there even a reason to farm for the higher cost node? Great question. So in Cantina, you'll notice that some characters, I'm trying to think of who has multiple...
Lando's an easy one.
Yeah, Lando's an easy one. Let me pull up old Cult 45. So if you go here, you can find, right? You see he's got 2 different battles, one for 8, one for 12. So the question is there, yeah, you get a little bit more rewards, right, for the higher ones, right? Some you don't have a choice. Like if you go for like the ones I'm working on, Veteran Han, Veteran Chewie, it's what it is. So the highest level, there's 16 energy. That's just the way it is. Typically for a character, you want to farm the lowest one. Why? Because you're getting more bang for your buck. Notice on the bottom, there's an 8 energy and a 12, right? There's not that much difference in the rewards. I mean, they're almost exactly the same. So if you have a character that has multiple Cantina and you're going to farm the character, go with the lowest one. Because Cantina energy, you get back slower, right? Even if you're investing crystals, you're going to get more reward for the character shard mathematically using 8 than you are for 12. You're just going to get more opportunities when you do you sim it, right? To where it's like, okay, now I'm getting more chances at getting a shot at collecting that character shard, and the math works out on that. So anytime we were just focusing on a character, which is pretty much what you will be doing. This is the only thing you will be focusing on Cantina. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but you want to go with the lowest one possible. Like the one I'm working on, you don't have a choice. Like if I go to Veteran Han and Veteran Chewie, there's only one spot to get them at, and I'm trying to pull them up right now. Like Veteran Chewie, if I go to where he's at, it's 8F. That's the last battle in Cantina. It's 16. I don't have a choice. That's just the way it is, so some you don't have a choice of where they're at. You just have to make do with who they are. The ones that have lower ones, and like Hera and Ezra and stuff, I mean they're cheap. That's why we recommend farming them out of Cantina, because that's where they're at, but higher level ones you don't have much of a choice, but you always want to go with the lowest Cantina one, because mathematically you will get more shards in the long term and farm it faster than if you go with the higher one. And the rewards are not that much better than, this is the highest one, and you can see just from, the rewards, it's minimal. It's not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? So don't bother going with the highest one. The rewards do not justify using the highest one, especially when you're trying just to get the character unlocked. So that would be my recommendation to your question.
Mm-hmm. And just to keep something in mind, because I already know kind of what the counter argument people might make is, this is for lower levels. Right. Keep in mind, we're doing this for newer players. This isn't for people that have been playing for a while. One of the key things that you'll notice, especially if you look on Lando's, right? Obviously, one of the things is the higher energy is later levels in the Cantina battles. So it's not going to unlock for you as quickly. So you may not have the choice initially anyway.
Right.
So, but one of the key things you'll notice is like the 12 energy for Lando will give you more rewards. If suppose that you had the same amount of energy and you could spend it either on the 8 or the 12. In the end, you would get more shards from the 8, but you will get less overall rewards in general from the 8 than you would the 12. The 12 will give you more Cantina tokens. It also gives you like fleet tokens, which the 8 doesn't.
1-star training droids, a little bit of cash.
And the training droids kind of balance out a little bit. You get more credits, you get fleet tokens. Now, why is 8 better than the 12 early on? The reason is, one, your fleet is not going to be unlocked, right? So you're not going to really be, depending on what level you are, especially early in the game, you're not going to have fleet yet, so there's really no reason you're worrying about fleet tokens. 2, which is probably the most critical thing, leveling up characters and getting a character higher up to a 7-star can make a much bigger difference than most other things. Now, with your 12 node, you'll get more Cantina tokens, which means that you will get more character shards from the Cantina shop. But the difference there is not huge. No. You will miss out on about 5 shards every 2 weeks, if I remember correctly, from the 12.
And if you look at what you're gaining from the actual farming of the character you're working on, it more than justifies and evens out from what you're farming.
It's the first things though that you see up there, which are the ability mats. Ability mats are going to be fairly rare, especially early on. You need to make sure, especially those purple ones. Those purple ones you want to try and get early. And so if you do the 12, you're not getting as many purple, because even maximum, you're getting a total of 1, right? And you're not getting as many attempts for the same energy as your 12. So initially, only really in early game, right, the 8 energy is better than the 12 because you're getting more of those ability mats, which really make a difference in enhancing your characters. Because the abilities change by giving you an increase of 5% damage, 15% damage at certain levels. Each level, the increment changes. The cooldown may go down by 1. The effect of the abilities has a much bigger impact on your efficiency than just getting the character a little bit getting more shards of another character or more resources. Because you're only going to be focusing on certain characters at the beginning. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. Late game, once you have your arena characters, in that scenario, late game, you're better off with the 12 unless you are trying to get a character as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. So if you're not worried about getting your character as fast as possible, you're just trying to maximize just overall, you're farming Lando because you just need a character to farm, then do the 12 because you'll get more resources in the rest of the game. You'll get less Lando shards, but you'll get more resources for the rest of the game, and then it makes sense. Early game, go for the lower, get those ability mats, get your character up to 7-star. There is, I believe it's 1F is Hera, so that's going to be the one that you're going to be farming. She's only in a 1 node anyways, so it's not going to be she doesn't really have too many options. But start with the lower ones because you get more of those ability mats, more of the little things that older players may not think about as much, and you get more of those, which actually helps you as you level up and you make that progress.
Yep.
So light side battles, dark side battles, get those done. Use whatever characters that you have. Get those allies. There is no star requirement on the characters you can use. So as long as you have 5 dark side characters, you can use those 5-star dark side characters on your entire battle. So keep those leveled up even though you're focusing on Phoenix. So just get your 5 dark side characters, get a strong ally, power your way through dark side battle.
With Darth Maul, wipe it all out.
And Darth Maul is
called winning.
So yeah, ask your ally to share a Darth Maul. You won't regret it. Then light side battles, obviously you'll have your Phoenix, you'll be able to make your progress. Cantina battles, get your ally, push through that, get to 1F. 1F is going to be your Hera node, and just farm Hera, and then you can farm Ezra as well, but you want to get your Hera unlocked early. Then we went over shipments yesterday. Make sure that you're checking your shipments every day, buying those gears that are at the bottom for just credits. Don't spend crystals on the gear above. That's going to be more of a late game purchase for most of you, so don't bother with that now. Just go all the way down to the bottom of the shipments, buy that energy or buy those gear, move on. Same thing with the store. Go all the way to the right. Once you go all the way to the right, there are those Bronzium data cards. You get 5 free of them every day. There's a 20-minute cooldown between them. Get those every day. As you complete your light side battles, your dark side battles, and your Cantina battles, you'll also get ally tokens. You can use those ally tokens to buy more of the Bronzium cards. buy those Bronzium cards with your ally tokens. There is one thing though, as a player that has just started, if you have not bought a Chromium pack, buy a Chromium pack. Why? In your first purchase of the Chromium card, the single Chromium card, you don't need to buy the 4-pack or the 8-pack or anything like that, just a single Chromium pack. For a new player, you get a fully unlocked character with your first purchase. So you can spend one purchase on your Chromium card, get that full character. You don't need to touch it again unless you're actually spending money in this game. And then your strategy will change a little bit. Okay? I think that covers that whole middle area, right, Ranger?
Yes, it does.
All right. The rest of it is all pretty straightforward. Challenges. There's going to be new challenges every single day. Try to get your highest tier done every single day. One of them will have 3 attempts. One of them will have 5 attempts. So just try to do all of the attempts. It's free gear, free credits, free ally tokens, free training droids. Just keep doing them. Once you 3-star the maximum one, you can sim it. If you don't have a lot of sim tickets, don't sim it. Just manually do it. They're fairly easy on auto once you kind of get to that level. Usually everyone has a level that they're able to do, and they're pretty easy even on auto as long as you have characters that are appropriate.
Get an ally, get a Darth Maul, go wreck shop,
Okay. And what else 73 says they made that part of the tutorial now to open the Chromium pack, and that's perfect.
Okay.
So if they include that in there, that's great.
Okay, good.
So perfect. Then mod battles. Mods are kind of a later game thing. Early on, you don't necessarily need to worry about it. Once you get to level 40, and once you start getting Gear 7 characters, that's when you start need to worrying about mods. Mods goes into a whole different aspect of this game. It's kind of like a little world within this whole Star Wars Galaxy world here. Mm-hmm. So we'll go more into mods later. They use Cantina energy. Okay?
Oh, yes.
So they use the same energy that Cantina battles use. So that's why we're saying not to touch it yet, because you need those characters early in Cantina battles. Then all the way on the left side is your guild. Now, it is really important, especially starting early on, that you get into a guild that is active. It doesn't have to necessarily be the strongest guild, right?
Oh, we got a new sponsor, Chrome Cobra.
Thanks, Chrome Cobra.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So you want to make sure that you're in an active guild. Being in an active guild highly increases your success rate in this game. And by that, I mean you get tokens in this game for it's guild activity points. If you go into the activities button in the bottom right, it'll show you what we were mentioning earlier with the reset. You'll see that it says activities reset, and it tells you when all of your daily activities reset and how much time you have to kind of get through that entire list of activities every day. That's also based on earlier when we were talking about the arena, that other timer that can show up. It can either be less than 10 minutes or it shows you like a few hours. It'll be the same amount of time as on the activities reset screen. But if you go into the guild activities tab, you'll see that there are daily raid tickets. The daily raid tickets accumulate and allow you to do raid battles with your guild. You can either fight the Rancor or you can fight Heroic AAT. We'll probably tackle that a little bit more tomorrow. But to be successful in this game, you want to be in a guild that does their dailies. We can explain the dailies a little bit more tomorrow. We can explain the daily raid tickets. Mm-hmm. Key thing, get into an active guild. There are a lot of different resources out there if you want to find a guild. Mm-hmm. So if you come on the RSG Discord, there are a lot of people. I'm sure that if there isn't a particular guild, I know of one right now that Cybershark is part of, so he may be able to help also. So if you're kind of a newer player, you're being active, you want to actually get into an active guild and keep on building your roster and play with certain people, try and find a low-level guild. You are better off finding an existing guild than making your own. Because if you make your own, then you have to fill up. A guild can hold up to 50 people. And so you want to try and get as close to 50, if not 50, as possible. I think tomorrow we can pick up a little bit more with the guilds and the activities. Mm-hmm. I think we've been answering questions as they've been popping up. A lot of you guys are having discussions. It's great. Yeah. And a lot of you guys are having discussions in the chat, which is great. We have people that watch Reality Skew Gamers that have played for quite a while. So it's great to see them helping out also as you guys have questions in the chat and you're having discussions about it. Being a new player in the game right now isn't the easiest thing. There's a lot of different content. It's important that you stay focused, and that's why we're kind of making a whole week of it to help you stay focused.
Yeah, we really want your feedback too. If you guys like this, we'll see how this series goes, but if it's really popular, we may start doing weekly or bi-weekly, update to where we allow new players just to come in and ask questions, because a lot of the times, but it's based on your feedback, guys. So your feedback is important. So tell us what you think about this series, in the comments below, or you can come into the Discord and leave your comments there and have a discussion with us about what you think. The reason we're doing this because we kind of felt that new players needed some help, reevaluating, redoing everything. So, we want you to be a part of the community and part of the game too. And it could be overwhelming. Like Finn said, when you get into this game, you're like, huh? What is this? Where do I begin? So, but yeah, if you guys like it, let us know. I mean, that's the most important thing. Your feedback really helps us decide, if we're going to continue the series. I mean, we're doing it this week, but then after that, we'll kind of take an assessment of how popular the series is and views and comments and likes and things of that nature. And if it is something, we'll look to do something more with this in the future. So your participation is very important.
All right. And I think that covers it for this one.
How dare you,
right in our
Cobra?
hour and
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
I think we're right in that hour to hour and a half range, which is what we were shooting for.
Yeah, I think
so. And we have a lot more to cover. We'll do that during the rest of the week. So I think that covers what we need to for today.
Yeah. So with that being said, remember, like, subscribe, support the channel the best you can, give us your feedback. That's what makes it count. Thanks for everybody for being in the chat. If you got questions, come into the RSG Discord and we can help you with all your questions and stuff there. So with that being said, thanks Dr. Finn Medicine Woman for being on. And remember, we'll be doing this tomorrow at 12. Again, we'll be doing the series, and then we'll have our Wednesday 8 p.m. Eastern. I think we're gonna have a lot of stuff dropped on us. I'm just waiting for the shoe to fall for Finn. I mean, I think tomorrow's gonna be another long stream. So they usually go to about 2.5, 3 hours with questions, because we do answer your questions during the stream too. And all you new guys are welcome to come along. You can see the latest updates and what's coming out, and kind of get a sense of what's going on in game and things of that nature. We kind of cover the whole spectrum with stuff. So anything that's new and updated, and CG's pretty good about dropping that stuff right before we stream. Even kind of on, I'm like, could you give us a little bit of time, to kind of look at stuff before, we talk about it. So they've been kind of good about that. That being said, anything else you want to add, Finn, and we can end the stream?
No, I think that covers it for this one.
All right. So you guys have a great try that again. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate all you guys, and we will see you tomorrow for the next 2 streams. Till then, peace.